I want to make this video about this year and about not having many resolutions and then reflect on last year. So Happy New Year. Last year everybody said it was awful and they didn't, well, it was half and half actually. Some people thought it was a good year for them personally, but then as a whole was a bad year. And then with all the celebrity deaths, most people thought it was an awful year. And then the election, of course, and how that resulted was just a cherry on top for people to be like, oh, this is the worst year ever. So that had me thinking, like, really, this is the most awful year ever? Like, I don't know. I wanted to have a conversation about it, and I didn't want to edit this video in any way because it's not rehearsed. I'm not scripted in any way when I'm saying all this stuff. But yeah, I want to talk about the year and what I guess it means and what it meant for me, and this year what it means for me. Well, let's start off. I want to talk about resolutions more than anything, and the fact that I'm so sick of having New Year's resolutions because it puts a load of pressure on yourself to do certain things and meet them by a certain amount of time and to have certain things done by a certain amount of time. It's just a loaded pressure, and I didn't want to have that kind of pressure. So I guess last year, the end of 2015, I stopped having resolutions for New Year's, and I just said I was just gonna keep trying to do my best to be the best that I wanted to be, and not really worry about trying to do things at a certain amount of time and to finish them at a certain amount of time. And I'm writing a book, which is crazy to say, but I'm writing a book, and last year I hadn't started at all, and I said at the end of last year that I wanted it finished by the time 2017 came, and I didn't finish it, but I started it, and I'm further along than I thought I would have been had I not tried at all, and had I not told myself that this was something that I was going to do and try to get done. And I think that's what messed me up, is that I said I wanted it to be done in a year. Had I just said I wanted to do it next year or start it next year, I wouldn't feel like I'm such a failure at it because I didn't finish it. So that's my point of having resolutions, or not having resolutions, is that you sort of set yourself up for failure when you say that. Like, okay, I want this done by a certain time. I want this done by a certain time. And then when it's not done, you feel like you didn't achieve it or you weren't successful at it because you didn't finish it at that so said time. So the goal is not to have resolutions and to just do what you want to do when you want to do it and finish it whenever you want to finish it. Just as long as you're on the road to getting it done and getting your goals done, then, you really don't need to worry about when it's going to be finished, because it's not about when it's going to be finished. It's about whether you're going to do it or not, or whether, you're going to be proud of whatever that is when you're done. So that's the main focus. I'm making this to really talk to myself and tell myself this is what I need to do. But if anybody watches this will be good for you to hear too, I guess. I mean, I'm not like a therapist or nothing, but I think that sounds like I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, because I've had stuff I wanted to do for a long time, and I've always said, okay, if it's not done by this date, I'm not going to do it anymore, because I feel like it's not going to happen if I didn't do it already. And I have to stop thinking like that, and a lot of people have to stop thinking like that. So, with that being said, try your best to be your best and not worry so freaking much about having resolutions. Just stop it. Just stop it. If you want to lose weight, just lose weight, or just start, attempt, put in effort. Just try it. Don't get mad if at the end of the year you didn't lose any. As long as you tried to do it, it's okay. And don't call it a resolution, because if you call it a resolution, that's adding pressure on yourself, and then you're gonna be forced to not want to do it, because it's like, oh, I said I would do this year. I made this a resolution. Now I have to finish it. And you're going to feel sort of shitty if you don't. And you don't want to feel shitty. Don't let your resolutions make you feel shitty like you didn't do what you said you were going to do, because no, don't do that. No, just do it. If you want to do it, just try to do it. And don't label it a resolution, and maybe that'll lessen the pressure on your shoulders, and then you won't feel like you have to finish it because, oh, I said I would do it this year. It's the resolution, so I gotta do it. I gotta stick to it. And then you're so focused on it, and then you forget everything else you gotta do for the year, and then it's like, why bother? Why bother? Just try your best to be your best for the new year, whatever that entails. It doesn't have to be losing weight. That's just an example. A lot of people at the beginning of the year start going to the gym, and the gym is particularly crowded in the month of January, and then as the year progresses, it gets less and less crowded, and then it goes back to being the normal size of crowd of people that it was before, and then you can tell everybody done slacked off their resolution. But because they made it a resolution, I think when you name it and you label it that, it makes it harder to keep, honestly. But like at the beginning of the year, it never fails. The gym is packed. And then months go by and it is not packed like they used to be, because it's like that pressure. I'm telling you, it's that pressure. So just don't name it a resolution. If you want to do it and attempt to do it, and that can be good enough. That can be good enough. That's my point. Attempting to do it and putting in effort to do whatever it is you want to do for the new year is good enough. You don't have to label it a resolution, and you don't have to feel like a failure if you don't finish it. You have the whole year. Don't put a set time to it. Just go out and do it and not worry about when it's going to be done or finished, because then, like I said, that pressure. So just attempt to do it. That's all. That's my thing on resolutions. And then when it comes to last year, and everybody's saying how it was the worst year because of all the celebrity deaths and the election, but was it really was it really the worst year? That's what I want to know. I mean, a lot of bad things happened last year. Sure, a lot of bad things happened last year. So it might be one of the worst years on record when it comes to what was going on in society, when it comes to, I guess, pop culture in some ways, and when it comes to politics, it can be considered one of the worst years. But a lot of good stuff happened last year too. You have to sort of look for it in the midst of all the bad things that happen. I think how we receive news and how we receive news and pop culture, whether it's good or bad, I think that had a large effect on what we consider bad or not. I mean, I think a lot of celebrities die every year. But I think it's how we look at it and how we receive news now that it affects us differently. Because social media is not going anywhere no time soon, and it's not weighing down. It's getting more popular, I guess. And so I think it's how we receive news that makes it all the more I guess, heightened or sensationalized in a way. Like, everything is so sensational when it comes to the news now. It's all, yeah, it's all, how can I say this? It's all about clickbaiting, and it's getting harder, basically, to find the good news and the real news and the true news, really. Because you really don't know what's real and what's not real anymore. It's getting really, really out of hand, and it's hard to find the truth. And for some reason, it's harder to believe the truth. I've always been fascinated with that. Why is it so hard to believe the truth? But then you believe something so asinine and not true immediately. But then people have to knock you over the head to believe the goddamn truth. And I think it's something in us as humans that makes us. Okay, that's another story. But anyway, the point is, is that last year, as bad as it seemed to people, had its good moments, and I hope that this year is not as I wouldn't say not as bad, but I hope this year isn't looked at the same as last year was as being a bad year, because unfortunately there might be some things that happen this year that aren't so good either, and I don't want people to start thinking that every year is going to be an awful year. There's good and bad in every year, and as much as I hope this year is way better than last year, I hope every year is better than last year. I hope every year is better than the year before. And that's just a hopeful outlook on stuff that I have. But I hope people don't look at this year when it's over and say, oh, it's just as bad as last year. Oh, they don't do that. Because that would be awful if they did. And you don't want that. So that's my little take on last year. And what I hope for this year, what do I hope for this year? I hope for people to remain hopeful. It gets you through a lot when you remain hopeful. Don't let this world turn you cynical, unless you are already cynical. And remain open. Remain open. And leave a little bit of optimism in your heart. I know everybody wants to be the realist and tell it like it is. But there's nothing wrong with being optimistic. So I would hope people remain a little bit optimistic. And not be so, expecting the worst. Don't expect the worst. Because it's going to happen if it doesn't, and it's going to happen if it happens. Don't expect it, though. That's what I got to say about that. And I hope everybody has a good year. Now, if anybody decides to watch this video, can you please thumb me up and get me a little visibility? Because I'm doing this thing for fun, but I also want people to see it. So, until next time, I won't say bye world, I say see you later world.